Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our webinar, which will be focusing on how to use our new archive catalogue. Hopefully you can all hear me and you can see our welcome slide on the screen. My name is Lucy and I am the IMechE's archivist, and I'm joined this morning by my colleagues from the institution's library, who are on hand to answer any questions that you might have during the webinar itself. Please type your questions into the Q&A section, making sure that you send your questions to all panelists so that my colleagues are able to view and respond. The webinar itself should last for about 20 minutes, after which we will be available for 10 minutes or so to answer any questions. We will be sending a recording of the webinar to everybody who consented to receive it when you registered to attend, and the recording will also be uploaded to the IMechE YouTube channel. This morning's webinar is designed to be a bite-sized introduction to searching our archive catalogue. So we'll focus on a brief introduction to what an archive is, and more specifically, a little about the sorts of material that might be found in the institution's archives, what to expect from an archive catalogue, and a little bit about how we catalogue archives. I'll introduce you to our new archive catalogue, show you how to search the catalogue and interpret your results, tell you how to access the material that you've identified, and then there'll be a short Q&A session at the end for any queries. So what is an archive and what is in the IMechE archive? Archives contain materials that have been created by individuals, groups, or organisations during their lifetime, which have been deemed to be worth keeping permanently for the purposes of research or as evidence of the functions and responsibilities of their creator. As a result, archives often provide perspectives on economic, political, and social history, as well as recording the business and activities of that individual, group, or organisation. These archive materials may be documents, volumes, photographs, drawings, digital files, and so on. Generally speaking, archives consist of unpublished material. If you're interested in published material, such as books, journals, and the IMechE's proceedings, these fall under the scope of the library catalogue. My library colleagues run regular library webinars, which you may wish to keep an eye out for, or you can watch a recording of a previous library webinar on the IMechE YouTube channel. So what is in our archive? Our collections are primarily paper-based, though we have digitised some material which is available online. Our collections date from 1726 and include the personal papers of mechanical engineers, such as letters, notebooks and blueprints, business records of engineering firms, records of the Institution of Mechanical Engineers, including council minutes and membership records, and also records that relate to our merged bodies, including the Institution of Locomotive Engineers and the Institution of Automobile Engineers. And finally, we also have artefacts, such as models, artworks, and personal items. So what can you expect from our archive catalogue? Firstly, it's worth my mentioning the difference between our virtual archive, with which you may be familiar, and our archive catalogue. Our virtual archive is an image-focused way for us to showcase some of our digitised archive material. Our archive catalogue is the place that contains descriptions of all of our catalogue archive material, regardless of whether it has been digitised or not. So you may use our archive catalogue to identify material which may be of interest to you. Once you have identified material, you can be in touch with us regarding access. We might invite you to make an appointment to view the material in person, or we might provide you with a digital surrogate. Unlike library material, however, you cannot borrow archive material. So in our archive catalogue, there are 5 pieces of information that each of our descriptions should include. And they are a reference, which acts as a unique identifier, the dates of the material, the extent of the material, and that is how much there physically is, and that could be 1 document, 4 volumes, 12 boxes. So that's quite an important one to be aware of. A title and a description which indicates the scope and content of the material. So I need to touch briefly on catalogue structure and how we catalogue our archives. Our archives, like many others, are catalogued hierarchically, which means that they work a little bit like a family tree. So at the top of our archival hierarchy, or our family tree, is the collection level, or grandparent. For today's webinar, I am using the collection of the engineer Tom Riches as an example. Tom Riches collected photographs and drawings of locomotives from different railway companies. Tom Riches is our collection level. Beneath the collection level sit series, or parent records. And these represent the different functions and activities carried out by an individual, a company, an engineering firm, for example. In the case of Tom Riches, these are the different railway companies from whom he collected drawings and photographs. And beneath the series level are individual items, or child records. And these are the photographs or drawings of locomotives themselves. So anything that is at the item level refers to physical material that can be ordered to view. So at the end of last year, we launched a brand new archive catalogue, which we hope provides information about our archive collection in a more user-friendly way. And today we're going to see it in action. So I'm just going to switch to do a live demonstration. So we're going to navigate from the IMechE homepage, which is imeche.org, and we're going to click on Library and Archive from the top menu. And once we're at the Library and Archive homepage, we're going to scroll down, and we're interested in this middle column here, which is titled Explore Our Archive and Artifacts. And we're going to select Archive Catalogue here beneath Browse Our Catalogues. And that will take us to the Archive Catalogue homepage, which consists of a search box for searching the catalogue and menus for browsing the collections or visiting our featured collections. Today I'm going to focus only on using the search box, as this is the best way to search our catalogue for a specific query. So I'm going to run a search using our engineer Tom Riches as an example to see what our search results would look like. So this is our search results page. It provides a summary of the search results for you to browse before selecting an item or items to have a closer look. There's a few things to note when you're looking at the search results page before you get stuck into the results themselves. By default, the results are ordered by relevance. Those entries which are most likely to match your search terms appear first. There are 4 tabs at the top of the search results, which I'm just highlighting now. These are archive records, names, places, and subjects. And you should focus on those results that are found in archive records. And we can see here there's been 210 results. Over on the left-hand side of the page, there is date range, in this case 1836 to 1920. So if you're looking for material of a certain date, you should be able to see at a glance if that date is included in your search results. If, for example, you were interested in something from 1950, this would indicate that there aren't any results from that date. Also here on the left-hand side are tick boxes that provide an opportunity to narrow down your search, should you wish, by showing you categories that your search results have fallen into. So if, for example, you're only interested in viewing results that include a digital image, you could click on Digitized here, which is just beneath Digitized status, and that would refresh your results, having removed anything that was not digitized. And you can see there's a little thumbnail with a digital image, which shows that these have all been digitized. I'm just going to unclick that. So if we actually have a look at the search results themselves, each search result appears in a rectangular box. To the left-hand side of each rectangular box is an illustration and a title which indicates which level of our archive catalogue the result is from. So here we can see we've an example of a collection, and then we've also got some items and a series. On the right-hand side of each rectangular box is the reference number, here THR, and this is the unique identifier for that material. In the centre is the title, and beneath that is an extract from the description of the material. So if you like the sound of something from the initial search results page, you can take a closer look at it by clicking either on the title in the middle or on the reference number on the right hand side. So I quite like the look of Taff Vale Railway Company here. So if I click on the title, that will take me through to the record. And the first thing for me to note here is it's telling me which level this record is from. So I can see that this is from the series level or parent from our family tree. You're then provided with those 5 elements that I mentioned should be found in each of our archive descriptions, as well as some additional information about an item. And another important one to note here is access status. This is indicating that this particular record is open to be viewed. On the right hand side of the page is a box which is titled Actions. So if you're looking at a collection or a series level, this box will include a box which allows you to search within this series, and that does exactly what it suggests. It can be really useful if you're interested in just searching within a particular collection rather than across the archive catalogue as a whole. I should mention that this searches our descriptions of documents. It doesn't search within the documents themselves. You also have the opportunity to print this catalogue entry, to email it, or to add it to your saved records. So if you click and add something to your saved records, it is added to a list which you can access from this top menu, saved records in brackets 1 because we've just added one. And if you click on saved records, you'll see a list of those records that you've added. It's a little bit like a shopping basket in a way. And from here, you can again print or email these, or you can click on contact us about these items. So you can put together a list and then get in touch with us about them. I'm just going to head back to our series level Taff Vale Railway Company. If we continue scrolling down, there is a heading called Contents. towards the bottom of the page, and this shows us the items or children records that sit beneath this series in that archival hierarchy. So in this case, there are 7 photographs within the Taff Vale Railway series. You may click on the details arrows on the right-hand side to be taken to a record page for that particular item. So I would like to click on the details for locomotive number 197. We can see here level item. At the top we can see that there is a breadcrumb trail which indicates where in the archival hierarchy this record sits. So our photograph of locomotive number 197 sits within the series Taff Vale Railway Company, which itself sits within the collection of Tom Rich's. So again, we have the title and the at least 5 elements that we said should be found in each of our descriptions, as well as some additional information. We also have the actions box over on the right hand side. It looks ever so slightly different this time. This time there is a contact us about this item link, and I'll show you what this looks like. It takes you to a contact us form where you can complete your details and your query, and it's automatically telling us that you're asking us about this particular record. So again, you can email and print this entry, or you can add it to your saved records. So some of our item level records also have images attached. So I'm just going to head back and have a look at those 7 photographs again, and I'm going to have a look at locomotive number 143. So we can see that the digital image loads towards the top of the page beneath the title, and there is an image viewer which allows us to have a look at the image in greater detail. In the top right hand corner of the image viewer is a little button that has sort of 4 arrows that are pointing away from one another. If we click on this, it allows us to make the image full screen, and we can then use the plus and the minus buttons to zoom in or zoom out, or the magnifying glass, and then click on an area in the photograph to zoom in. If we wish to close the full page viewer, we just need to select the red X which has appeared in the top right hand corner, which will take us back to the item page. If we scroll down, we've got all of the information that we've come to expect to see, and it's just worth me pointing out here that the access status for this particular item is digital. So if you were to get in touch with us requiring access to this item, we would provide a digital surrogate rather than access to the original. And one of the reasons that we do this is a conservation reason. It helps reduce the amount of handling for that original photograph. If you're interested in using an image that is on our catalogue, please do get in touch with us. So when you're using the archive catalogue to identify material, the thing that is best to make note of is this reference number. That's the unique identifier. And if you get in touch with us and you tell us this, we'll be able to look it up and know exactly what you're talking about. So to arrange access, you can give us a telephone call or drop us an email address, or you can do so within the archive catalogue by clicking on the contact us about this item, either within an item or from your saved records list. What I will do is leave our contact details on the screen at the end of the webinar. So if you've got in touch with us and you'd like access, we may well do this in person. So we operate in-person access via appointments during the opening hours of the Library and Members Hub at One Birdcage Walk in London. At the moment, appointments are available on weekdays between 10 AM and 5 PM. And we ask that where possible, you give us 2 weeks notice ahead of a potential visit. If a physical visit is not possible, then we can look to see if material can be digitised, or if it has already been digitised, and we can provide access that way. My top piece of advice is if there's any queries at all about how to get access, about searching the archive catalogue, then it's definitely best just to get in touch with us. And what I will do is just find the slide with our contact details and pop that on the screen now, so you've got the opportunity to take them down. So that brings us to the end of this bite-sized introduction to our new archive catalogue. I'm just going to check in with my colleagues who've been keeping an eye on any questions that have been coming in during the webinar, and we'll also be about for 10 minutes or so to take a look at your questions if you can just pop them in the Q&A box. Thank you very much for your time this morning. So I don't think I can see too many questions in the Q&A, so now is the time to pop them in and we can take a look at them now for you. If not, then feel free to drop us an email to get in touch that way, or give us a telephone call. If you're interested in recordings of library webinars or past archive webinars, then they are accessible via our YouTube playlist on the IMechE channel, and the link for the IMechE channel is just on the bottom of the slide here.
Hi Lucy. So I'm just having a look through the chat. There's a couple of questions. Someone said they had a question about using the material in PowerPoint presentations and reports. So like using the material from the archive. Best to contact you.
Yeah, so thank you. So yes, it is always best to contact us about that, just because it really does depend on which material it is that you're looking to use, and then exciting things about copyright and who owns the copyright and is it still in copyright. So essentially we kind of need to go through all of that for every request. So yeah, it's probably best just to get in touch sort of in the first instance, and we can go from there.
And another question we get asked a lot is, like, when people visit, are they allowed to take photos of the material?
Yes, so you can take photographs, but there is a proviso that you're doing so for your own personal research use. So when you visit us, you will complete a form signing in, and in doing so, you're agreeing that it's only for your own personal use. So you're able to take copies of material for your own use, but if you wanted to publish that or share it, then you would need to come back to us. Just because then we'd need to sort of check in and see what the copyright situation was.
And we've got a question in the Q&A. Someone has asked, can you do a sample search for Bellis or Bellis and Morecambe?
Ooh, a live search. Yeah, I can give that a go.
Exciting, never had that before.
Okay, so I'm back on the catalogue. So I'm going to do a search for, let's do Bellis first. Actually, it's an opportunity for me to say that there is a top tip that you could use a wild card, which is the star, which would then bring up Bellis and Morecambe. So looking at the results here, looks like there's been a number of individuals with the surname Bellis who have joined as members, and have worked for Bellis and Morecambe. So this, for example, this result here is for John Cook, who was a draftsman for them. Let's have a look and see if we've got anything else. And lots of people certainly who are employed by them. Let's have and see if we've got any of their actual company records. It doesn't look like we do have a collection of material from them, but certainly we've got a number of individuals who were employed by them.
Yeah, great, thank you.
By all means, do get in touch. We do have our historical membership records available online through the family history website ancestry.com. So if somebody was a member up to the date of 1938, then their membership record will be digitised already and online. If you're an IMechE member, then you can get free access as part of your IMechE membership. And if not, then there is a small fee for access, but do get in touch and we can see what we've got. I did just see A question that said about can we email digital copies? So yes, we can email digital copies, provided we're all happy that we can provide the copy, then yes, we would look at emailing that out.
Haven't got any questions in the chat, just a couple of comments saying thank you and looking forward to having a browse. Been really useful. They didn't realise the extent of the material and the archive. We're going to have a look now.
Fabulous, the more the merrier.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose if there's no other questions, then thank you very much for your questions and for your time this morning. The recording will be sent out to everybody who consented to receive it and then added to the IMechE YouTube channel. I would say that would probably be within the next week or so. And yeah, anything else that we can help with or any queries about our archive collection, the catalogue, how to search the catalogue or how to get access, then please do just get in touch with us and we'd be very happy to help. So thank you very much.